What's up everyone? Big Sky Bowler coming to you again from Town and Country Lanes in Billings, Montana, and today we are going to talk about your shoulders and just how important they are in the two-handed game. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. One of the key differences between the two-handed game when compared to the one-handed game is the use of the shoulders. Have you ever watched a really good one-handed power player? Have you ever paid really close attention to their shoulders and how their shoulders rotate when they swing the ball? I'm going to show you a few videos, and I'd like you to watch real closely.
Oh, strike a piece. Watch him just drop this right into the swing. There it is, right there.
It still might get there.
Power mix on the left lane. Trip forward, good stop. Ronnie Russell's plan is to get mean on the lane. Second frame, mean stroke.
Did you catch it? What did you notice about their shoulders? When a good one-handed power player begins their swing, their non-ball side arm normally extends out in front of them, kind of like this, almost as if they're going for a swim. If you remember when you were a little kid or whenever it was that you learned how to swim, your instructor basically taught you to reach out in front of you and pull back behind you, right? As a one-handed power player, as the ball reaches the apex of their swing, their non-ball side arm normally points straight out in front of them towards either their target or their intended ball path. As the ball begins to fall in the downswing, their non-ball side shoulder rotates vertically. So we're talking in this plane right here, as their ball side shoulder rotates from its rear position downward and essentially follows the ball in the downswing. So they reach out in front of them, the ball gets to the height of the backswing, and as the ball comes down, the shoulder travels with that ball, and the shoulders rotate together in this fashion right here. This shoulder rotation stops with the release of the ball, and the shoulders normally will end up square to the player's intended target or ball path. This process of shoulder rotation is called DYDS, or rather, drop your dang shoulder. Obviously, the second D does not stand for dang, but you get the point. This allows maximum transfer of energy from the player's swing into the ball at the point of release. This is also why one-handed players emphasize a pendulum-style swing as they rely on gravity to do the work of the swing for them. The higher the backswing, the more ball speed they have at the point of release, if they are in time, of course. Now, when we are talking about the two-handed game, we need to understand that even though there are similarities between the one-handed game and the two-handed game, the two styles are completely separate from one another and each requires its own unique approach. When a two-hander swings the ball, the non-ball side hand remains on the ball throughout the entirety of the swing process. So the ball comes back and then forward, and the only time that non-ball side hand comes off the ball is at the point of release. What this means is that the non-ball side shoulder must follow the ball in the swing throughout its entirety. If the shoulder stays back or attempts to stay square to the intended path of the ball, it will cause adverse effects during the swing process, and it will cause accuracy issues. Like the one-handed power player, the non-ball side shoulder is going to face forward as the ball comes back into the swing. However, it is important to keep in mind that this shoulder must rotate further than the one-handed player's non-ball side shoulder. In fact, the two shoulders of a two-handed player should almost align with each other and point towards the intended ball path. The non-ball side shoulder should almost be pointed at the floor and underneath the chin. As the ball enters the downswing, the ball side shoulder follows the ball in the downswing, and the non-ball side shoulder will rotate vertically, just like the one-handed power player. In order to help me remember this in my game, I like to think of a golfer and how a golfer swings a golf club. Just like a golfer who always has two hands on the club at all times, a two-handed bowler has two hands on the ball at all times, at least until the point of release. So as the golfer stands sideways and swings the club back, what does their left shoulder do? It drops down and comes underneath their chin. And as they follow through on their swing, the right shoulder follows the club down and rotates through the ball. This method of shoulder rotation allows the body to follow a natural progression during the swing and follow-through process. What you will notice is that often a good two-hander will follow through to the left side of their head, or if they're a left-handed two-handed player, to the right side of their head, which is quite like the follow-through of a one-handed power player.
Belmo's on that left lane.
So Darren, the absolutely picture-perfect start, not for Europe, but for the USA. Oscar, empty words.
Yeah, I'm thinking the bowling balls are going to have to do a little more talking for that to be the case.
If your shoulders do not rotate properly, your body position will remain closed, and this will limit your capability of projecting the ball towards your target, especially if you're trying to get that ball to go to the right. This also limits the height capability of your backswing, and as a two-hander, you should know that it's really difficult to generate ball speed. One of the primary ways we can generate that ball speed is to get that ball as high as possible in the backswing. The only way to do that is to allow your non-ball side shoulder to rotate around completely and follow the ball as it comes into your backswing. Not only does it limit the height capability of your backswing, but more often than not, if this shoulder does not rotate around completely, it's going to cause your swing to wrap around behind your body. Now you may be asking yourself, what is something that you can do to practice this proper shoulder rotation? Well, I can't really tell you what's going to be best for you, but I can definitely tell you what I do in my practices to help me make sure my shoulders are rotating properly during my swing process. I begin with non-ball full approach drills. Essentially, I stand in the spot where I usually start on the approach, no ball in my hand, I get in my setup, and I go through all of the motions. I'm simply practicing rotating my shoulders the proper way with no weight in my hands at all. This allows my body to act freely. Once I do that at least 5 times, I move on to ball in hand with a 3-step drill. So I get approximately 3 to 3.5 steps away from the foul line. Now keep in mind, that distance will change based upon how tall you are, so the best way to figure out how far away from the foul line you need to be is to go all the way to the foul line, get your heels to the back of that foul line, and take 3.5 steps forward. What we're going to do at that point is take the ball and hang it at our side. We're going to get it up into the swing. At the point that the ball reaches the height of the swing, we're going to take a skip step forward and deliver the ball, remembering to rotate our shoulders properly. I do that 5 times. After I'm finished with that, I then move on to basically a full approach with my ball in my hand and focusing primarily on my shoulder rotation. Anyway guys, thanks for watching the video today. Hopefully this helps you get better at throwing the ball with 2 hands. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing to the channel, leave a like below, and be looking out for the next video in the series where we talk about the 2-handed swing.